Hello YouTubers, this is Hammy Technoid, and today we are out in the living room man cave and we're looking at the Carver CT-7. The CT-7 is my main preamp out here in the living room, and it's connected to my two crown amps through just a splitter. But yeah, the Crown CT-7 is quite a piece, and that's why I picked it up from eBay. It intrigued me in its capabilities. It's got a tuner built in, which is unusual for a preamp because typically a preamp is just a preamp, but tuner and preamp together, this was something that Carver came up with, and in many instances was very successful in promoting and marketing. So I got this one on eBay. And it didn't come with a remote, but you noticed at the very beginning of this video you saw the volume control moving by itself. Yeah, that's the remote control. This guy here is an aftermarket, and it is specifically made for a CT-7. It looks like just a generic remote, you know, but this part here opens up. And look, the guys that made this for the CT-7 were very conscientious, and they even put a hologram button down here for me. They put a hologram button and an asymmetrical charge coupled device button. So this thing covers the whole gambit of what the CT-7 can do. So I'm very pleased with this remote, but you know, mainly I use it as to just change the volumes up and down. So I can change the volumes up. Yeah, there you go. Just change the volume up a little bit. So anyway, what we got here is a very, very nice tune-up preamp, and it's got presets for your stations, okay, and it's got tuning knobs, and you can tune manually or you can tune auto. I've got it set to auto, but just to show there's manual. And for manual, you've got up, down buttons here. These are up, down for tuning, but manual or in auto mode, you just hit up and it starts finding stations on its own, you see. And I do again and it'll find another station, and it's not doing a very good job of finding stations, but these are weak stations. So now if I wanted to save this station right here into one of the memories, I hit the set button, okay, and then I hit the button I want it to go to, that one right there. So back to this one where we were before, and now I want to go to this one which I just set, and there it is. Okay, but that's the one we were at before, and this, and it's playing some popular rock and roll. So anyway, then you've got your bass, mid, treble tone controls here. Okay, a mini equalizer, if you will, bass, mid, treble, very mini equalizer, so you can adjust the tone. But it's bass for both channels, mid for both channels, treble for both channels. That's why I've incorporated external equalizers. So yeah, more on the front here. You've got an AM button as well, but I never listen to AM, hardly ever listen to FM anyway. I'm just doing that for this demo here. And there's your auto and manual tuning buttons. Auto, and there's your up, down, and this is how you would find new stations. You would just do up or down and it would lock in on a new station, and then you could save it like I showed. Now for the preamp section, the main preamp section, it's got all your standard settings, and I'm going to move it over a bit because that's what we're going to be messing around with right here in the main preamp section. So you see it's got a phono, not a phono 1 or phono 2, just a phono, so it's a single phono. Then there's a CD setting. And then there's a video 1 and video 2. This was back when VCRs and VHS and all that and data was all coming out, so you had to have your video settings, so video 1, video 2. And those can be substituted as extra auxiliaries as well, okay? And I had it set to tuner, and that's why we were listening to radio. And Asymmetrical Charge Coupled Device, that's a built-in feature for the tuning of the FM that allows weak stations to sound good and strong like strong stations would if you were close. And it kind of filters out some of the noise, and it's a nice feature, and it was patented by Bob Carver, the inventor of the Carver, okay, the owner of the Carver company. Yeah, he's the founder and the the main contributor with his geniuses. So anyway, he did the A.C.C.D button there. And then there's the audio mute button. You press that if you want to mute the audio, and you listen, you turn up some music, and then you mute it, and the sound goes down. Then the sound comes back up, and there's the mute. And that works fairly well, except it's not a complete audio mute like I like a complete audio mute where you press the button and everything dies. With this one, you turn it up and you can still hear a little bit. See? So that's not an ideal audio mute. And then of course, sonic hologram. You can have your sonic hologram, and you might not be able, you probably won't be able to hear sonic hologram in the difference. You probably won't hear the difference over the YouTube. But anyway, then come to the little buttons below the functions here, and we have a tape monitor 1 on off, or tape monitor on off, that's this guy, and then there's tape monitor 1, tape monitor 2, and then there's dubbing, tape 1 to tape 2, or tape 2 to tape 1, and then you have the mono function, and then you have a loudness button. And loudness gives a Fletcher-Munchin effect. You know, Fletcher-Munchin, they came across the discovery that the ears hear better sounds loudly when the volume is turned up. You hear the basses and trebles higher, and when the volume is low, you don't hear the basses and the trebles. So they have a compensation circuit called loudness, which boosts the bass and the highs when you have a certain volume level, and it's linked in with your volume control. So as you turn the volume up, the bass boost from the loudness becomes less significant and less noticeable. And then, of course, you have your left-right balance. Okay, so there, let's give it. Left. Okay. So anyway, this is my quick down and dirty of one of my favorite amplifiers here, my Carver CT-7. Preamp, I mean, and it is a magnificent sounding little device. I love the way it sounds. It sounds clean and clear and crisp, and it's really a good little amplifier. And I'm going to interject in here a sheet that shows the specs, and it's a really good spec'd out preamp. So anyway, that's my video for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it. It wasn't too flippity floppity. You know how I get. Sometimes I'm flippity floppity. So anyway, until next week, see you later.